absolutely glorious November morning. I'm in Bourne Hall Park and I'm just about to walk a section of the London Loop. I've got my GoJauntly app on here and we're doing section 7. I'm going to do it backwards, so we're doing from Ewell West station to Banstead station. I sort of find myself on these walks photographing a lot of different trees. I'm going to photograph this tree. And I'm on the extended selfie stick. I'll do it outside the tree. Just in Ewell Village by the jail. I've talked about that in a previous video, which was Slowway's route following from Ewell Village to Tulworth. Worth a look. We're heading up Church Street, past the church, funny enough, and Ewell Castle as well, and going into what's like a little side route into Nonsuch Park and a way in that a lot of people don't really know and I never knew about. I've lived around here almost my entire life, so I only discovered it when I was first doing the London Loop. And I've done this route before and it is nice, so it's really worth doing again with a bit more video. But very soon, I'm going to switch the time lapse mode, I think. Get most of this. I've just entered Nonsuch Park and I think I've probably gone a slightly different way, slightly off the route that it says on GoJauntly, but to be honest it doesn't really matter. And anyway, you're walking into these woods. It's a lovely sort of stroll. It is a cold November morning, but we haven't had too much rain, so it's actually not too muddy. Just looking around, it's this lovely winter low light. Almost back onto the route that's supposed to take me into the main park, Nonsuch Park. So it's made a little rope swing up here. It's all very autumnal, lovely. Plenty of opportunity for 360 pictures up here, which I might do. Couple. Milestone marker as well. Plenty of those around. There's lots of history with Nonsuch Park and interesting things to be found. Let's just pop you up there. Well, I've sort of doubled back on myself only because I can film this sort of approach to the main part of Nonsuch Park, and you would normally have all the dog walkers coming in from here along the avenue, I think it's called, into this one path, and then we have two parallel paths that follow each other. One slightly quieter than the other, but just to confirm we are on in the right direction. There is a London Loop signpost. That's where we should have come from, and that's where we're going. It doesn't even look like a path. I love it. It sort of comes out the trees here into this main pathway, and like I said, another path which sort of runs parallel, which we may cut up into, and that will take us sort of out of Nonsuch Park as well. At some point, there we go, there's another London Loop sign, and the main part of Nonsuch Park here. All signs about the Friends of Nonsuch. And this time of day, it's a Monday. It's about 11 o'clock and my phone's ringing. So I'm trying something not quite done before. Let's try and film with 2 cameras at once. Now people look at me thinking, who's that strange guy and what's he up to? This is this lovely path that I said runs parallel with the main path. And you get some amazing photos here, especially this time of year. It's a shame that the London Loop doesn't really spend more time in Nonsuch Park, and it almost just sort of flirts with the outskirts. But there's so much, it's so big, there's so much to explore. But you do get this. If you make it onto this path, it's like a little hidden path. And you'll see through by a time lapse just how lovely it is this time of year. It's 11 o'clock. It's the end of November, so the sun's quite low. But it's just fantastic for photos. I'm sure people come down here and do photo shoots with their kids and things. Make dens, as you can see there. But it is a shame the London Loop doesn't really explore more of Nonsuch Park. It just sort of skips around the edge and then flies off. But I would certainly, if you're just doing this section, it's worth just exploring the park a bit more. Go off on a few tangents and see what you can see. I've done quite a few 360 shots down this path before, but I might try another one. Sadly, this is where we leave Nonsuch Park, but we're heading in to Warren Farm, which is sort of managed by the Woodland Trust. It's a precious haven in an urban setting. It's not huge, 21.5 hectares, and a haven for wildlife and people, and a great place to escape to. Sits on the old parish of Covington and now part of East York. So we are just going to walk in here. A few less dog walkers here, I suppose. When I first did this, it was completely covered in frost. When I first walked in, it was quite amazing. But it's a lovely space. I'm going to head out just off the path a little bit and just head out just kind of into the middle of the park area. Isn't really the ideal kind of weather for 360 photos, kind of clear blue sky with bright sun that's getting quite high, but it is a nice place to walk and film. There's not a lot of people around. I'm sort of cutting across the path so I don't run into too many people, just while I film this. We're about to go into sort of quite an urban, suburban part of the walk, just around a sort of residential area. So before we do that, I don't really want to fly a drone here because it's not that interesting footage, and I have got some footage before, and there's a few people around as well. But I'll get back on the path. Just turn around a bit here. Back on the path here. And then heading out onto the street. We'll go time-lapse mode for the last bit, I think. just realised. I've just done this whole bit to camera. I'll be honest, you didn't miss much. It was just walk along, we just come across an A road, kind of done a double back on ourselves into a residential street. And this goes on for a little bit and then we head across the golf course, I think. We are just about to head into Banstead Downs. You've kind of got the end for sort of residential area. Quite a nice view. I've come uphill quite a bit. But we're heading towards Banstead Downs, across the golf course and everything like that. So this is just quite an interesting place to walk. These narrow little tree-covered pathways, which are great again for kind of these cool little 360 shots. We get myself kind of walking in, and then it sort of opens up across golf courses and things as well. I did come here last year, and I think it was snowing. I'll try and find some pictures and share those to maybe compare. Actually, I took a little bit of footage as well. Here's some time-lapse shots to kind of compare how it looks now. I think it was February 2020 that I first came here. Might be wrong now. Here we go, Banstead Commons. And some information about the difference between mushrooms and toadstools. And what we try and avoid. Golf course. Find which way to go. Easy to go completely off in the wrong direction here. We just kind of just come across just this what appears just to be part of the golf course, and we got golfers obviously playing here, but we have found there's a public bridleway sign and a London Loop sign which takes us down just this fantastic sort of tunnel path, and avoids getting hit by golf balls hopefully. But as we enter the kind of golf course, there's a little path that goes off left, and it almost seems like that's the way. But again, GoJauntly to the rescue. It's kind of saved me doubling back on myself. But I've definitely filmed down here before, and I'll try and find that footage. But we're going to do a couple of 360s, I think, and do a bit of a time lapse as well. So I'm just at a part of where, not the golf course, I don't know what hole this is, but we've just seen some golfers teeing off. It's just an amazing view across the golf course from here, and it's lovely and bright. But we've got this quite amazing tree, and there's a lovely long shadow, and I'm going to kind of hide myself in the shadow and try and trick my camera so I don't get my kind of shots here. You can see my hand just there. What I don't want that is in the shot, but I'm going to just lift you up to show you the kind of shot that I'm going to try and get. Way up there. Just going to film and talk as I walk. This is certainly worth a time lapse, but maybe we do it in real time. And we are supposed to approach T junction at some point, It's not this one. There's our London Loop sign. So I'm just going to carry on down this fantastic little tree corridor path. And you know what? Maybe even a little 360 a bit further up. We'll try one as well. So we are at that sort of T-junction I mentioned, and this is where section 6 and section 7 of the London Loop actually overlap. If you're just doing one section, it's quite confusing. So we are 1.5 miles or 4 miles from Coulston and 3.5 miles from Bourne Hall, so it's not really, these aren't huge sections really, but there's our sign to Banstead Station. So for this section we are heading down here, which again is quite a lot of potential for a 360 photos, to be honest, but I might just film a little bit before we do that. Like I said, this is sort of the last part of this section, and it heads to Coulston Station, and then if you were to go on and do the next part, you'll kind of have to double back a little bit. I'm still undecided whether I'm going to do both, but I think I might, but they'll be separate videos. So to wrap up, this for me is one of my favourite parts of the walk, only because it's so quiet and isolated. You don't have a lot of dog walkers because we are sort of crisscrossing over a golf course, but Nonsuch Park again is amazing and worth spending a little bit of time in. But I think it's good. It's a good spot for a 360 shot, I think. I'll try and find a little bit of shade to get the image.